Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for Gravity, which is a film starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, two actors I really like, especially when they do dramatic roles, and directed by Alfonso Cuarón, the guy that did Children of Men, which is a amazing film. Definitely go watch that film. And he did one of the Harry Potter films. I don't know which one. I think it was like the fourth one, but maybe the third one. But I heard it's like the best one of the series, hands down. So there you go. He's a damn good director. So Gravity is, of course, a movie based in space with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. So I was very much excited for this film, especially since the trailers themselves look so good. So what did I think of Gravity? Well, let's talk about the story. The story for Gravity follows two astronauts. You have Ryan Stone, played by Sandra Bullock, and Matt Kowalski, played by George Clooney. Now, Ryan Stone is actually a scientist that took some classes, and now she's an astronaut only because she has to go and fix up some satellite or something. I'm not really sure, but, you know, science stuff. I don't know. But anyway, she's there for a reason, and George Clooney, he's the veteran astronaut. You know, this is pretty much his last day as being an astronaut. He's actually quitting right after this last mission, and of course, you know, everything's according to plan at first. Everything's alright, you know. It's fun and games first until, boom, a bunch of debris comes and destroys the space station that they were at, completely obliterating it. And now they have to go and find another space station so they can go and get back onto Earth. Now, that's all I'm going to explain, because explaining everything else in the story, of course, I can't do that. I can't explain everything in the story. But even saying just little bits here and there might be considered spoilers, so I'm just going to leave it off there. They're in space. Shit goes real, everything blows up, they have to find a way to go back onto Earth and be safe. So there you go, there's the story of Gravity. I'm going to be completely fair and say that the way I explain the story is not very good, because it makes the story itself sound very generic. It follows two astronauts trying to find a way back home. That's pretty much it. But you know what? I can't explain it any other way, because I want you guys to go out and see it. Because if I explain any more, then there will be just parts that you just won't have the same experience with if you just saw it without me explaining it. Because this is truly a cinematic experience. And not only that, but it has real character here. The movie starts off and it's just go. They're not on Earth and they don't get shot up in a rocket or whatnot, or there's no part where you just, you know, get some character development. They're already in space, they're floating around in their spacesuits and stuff, and they're doing their job. There's no real like build up. It's just straight up 90 minutes of just space. And it is just so cinematic. The soundtrack itself is just, I know I don't really like using this word anymore, but it is truly epic. When it actually uses the soundtrack, when stuff is just going wrong, it is amazing. And what is truly phenomenal in this film is that they get space completely right. Now, I don't know much about space, but my perception of space, what I think space is in this film. So I think it got it completely right. The way people move around, the way things float, just looks so realistic. The way things blow up and you don't hear any sound is truly phenomenal. It really is what space would be like. I mean, you won't hear big explosions. You might hear like something, but it won't carry. It'll be like boom, and then it'll be done. No more carrying of sound, because it can't carry sound. And I love that. They do everything that you want a movie about space to do in this film. There's parts where people are about to lose oxygen. There's parts where you see someone dead in space. You want to see what it looks like when someone dies in space. And let me just say, that's a really, really hard to watch scene. And it's truly, I'm going all over the place. This truly is a phenomenal film if you want to see what space truly is like. This is the closest you'll probably get besides a documentary about space itself. And even though it just starts off automatically with no real character development, the movie itself builds these characters, so you actually start to really like Sandra Bullock and George Clooney's characters, and it helps that they're pretty much the two only characters in this film, besides a couple of times where you hear Ed Harris playing Mission Control voice. That's his name in the credits. Besides that, maybe some very minor characters that you barely see or hear. Besides that, it's just them. It's just them two. And their chemistry, their ways they react to the situations going on seem very realistic, and you just really do start to warm up to both of these characters, especially George Clooney, who is always charismatic, but here he's darling. I love him. I do. He's just freaking amazing in this film, and I love them in this. But Sandra Bullock is the main focus here. She's the one who has to go through a lot of trouble because she's not really an astronaut, and she has to go through this big hardship. You know, this is her first big mission, and of course, it's just boom, 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 everything blowing up. So she has to deal with it, and you really do have to follow her, and you definitely do start to warm up to her, and her courage starts to show also. And I really liked the characters, I really did. It's a phenomenal film. I don't really know what else to say here. Space and everything in it looks amazing. All the special effects where you see, you know, some of the satellites or space stations start to fall apart just look amazing. What else? The cinematography is just absolutely astonishing. There are just some really amazing shots that will stick with you. Like there's a whole shot where you see Sandra Bullock floating in space, and you just see the reflection of her helmet, and you see Earth in the background, so you see a reflection of Earth, then nothing, reflection of Earth, because she's like spinning around and around. And then there's a shot where they actually go inside her helmet, and the sound design changes because it's in the helmet. Then they go back out of the helmet, and it's hard to explain. There's just so many amazing scenes here. So it really is one of the best films of this year. Is it the best film in my opinion? I'm not sure. I have to watch it again to tell you, but it really is up there with some of the best movies, and it might be one of the best just space films of all time. Actually, it probably is the best space film. If you want to get what space is really about, then this film definitely tells you. It's emotional, it's cinematic, it's just beautiful to look at, groundbreaking, it has amazing acting from both of the leads. Go see Gravity. It is a movie that you need to see. It's probably one of the biggest... It should be one of the biggest blockbusters of this year, in my opinion, and it's probably gonna win Movie of the Year at Oscars next year. It's getting amazing reviews, and I don't see why it shouldn't. So there you go. There's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Oh wait, I didn't give it a score. Duh. 40 out of 40. There you go. Did I need to say anything else? It truly is a phenomenal film. Go check it out. So there you go. There's my review. Thank you, and goodbye.